I'm Dr. Nalini Avinashwakumari, working as a assistant professor at the Maharashtra Vidyapeeth, Pune. Today's our topic is fascism in Italy. Under this lecture, briefly I introduce related to this topic, meaning of fascism, Mussolini and fascism, then principles and problems of fascism, then ideology of fascism, causes to spread of fascism, and Mussolini's internal and foreign policy, as well as how this fascism as well as Mussolini is the cause to start the Second World War, and evaluation of fascism and some reference books. So here we all know that after the First World War, what was the situation in the world? So in the World War First, Italy had fought on the side of Allies. During the war, Italy suffered great loss. About 6 lakhs of Italian soldiers were killed, 10 lakhs were injured, and property worth $300 million was destroyed. During the Paris Peace Conference, Italy demanded several territories situated on its borders as promised by the Allied powers in the Secret Treaty of London. But Wilson refused to recognize this secret agreement. According to Carr, everywhere in Italy, it was said that Italian achievements were being discounted, and her feelings had been hurt. Even though the economy of Italy was also badly affected by the war. The soldiers discharged after the war did not get any employment. Due to the closing of several workshops which produce arms and armaments, the number of unemployed grew. Consequently, after the war, Italy faced an economic crisis. The value of its currency fell down to 60%. Prices began to rise. There was all-round discontent in Italy. Fascism was born out of the discontent and despondency that filled the atmosphere after the World War First. So we know that in the World War First, many nations suffer. Under that, Italy also not got what it's desired after the war. The Allied given provinces to her, but that was not fulfilled by the Allied, and that's why the Italy faced not only economical, political, and some social issues also. And this is the one reason that these are the few reasons that the fascism rise in Italy. So there were so many causes to start the fascism or rise of fascism in Italy, despite caused by the Paris Peace Conference. How Paris Peace Conference is the responsible for the rise of fascism in Italy? According to the Secret Treaty of London, Italy was to get Dalmatian coastal strip, Tyrol area up to Beer Pass, Albania, Trentino, Istria, and Fiume, but due to the opposition of Wilson, she got only Trentino, some portion of Dalmatian coastal strip and South Tyrol. The people held the Republican government of Italy for its failure in the peace conference, especially when they saw that France and Britain had been given much more territory as compared to Italy. In 1990, an Italian poet named D'Annunzio marched towards Rimini and thus expressed the discontent of the people against the existing regime. So here the whatever Italy expect from the after the First World War, it's not got that much of profit. Then the economic discontent. Italy had suffered heavy losses of men and material in the war, that is in the First World War. She had suffered an economic loss of $12 billion. As already stated, the number of unemployed in Italy grew to an alarming extent. In the absence of foreign markets, her trade declined considerably. It was rightly said at that time that the war had been won, but peace was lost. So according to the Kettleby, during the years following the war, Italy was full of disorder and discontent arising from financial and economic hardships. The people now desired a strong government which could free from these hardships. So this is the one more reason to rise the fascism in Italy. Then lowering of national dignity. In the 19th century, the spirit of nationalism had deeply affected the people in Europe. Italy was no exception to it. In 1881, Italy was prevented by France from occupying Tunis. The defeat of Italy at Andova in 1888 dealt a further blow on the national dignity of Italy. In order to regain it, Italy joined the war on the side of allies, but during the peace conference, Orlando, the Prime Minister of Italy, had to return dissatisfied with the attitude of Wilson. The fascists promised to restore the national dignity of Italy as soon as possible, so the people turns toward the fascism. Then another reason is the propagation of uh, Hegelian principles. Hegel, a German thinker, believed that the state was the supreme manifestation of God on earth. Such a divine state can never commit mistakes. There can be no conflict between the rights of the citizens and the rights of the state because the citizens have only those rights which the state grants them. Hence, man can only progress by obeying the state. Two Italian soldiers, gentle and Prezzolian, widely published these ideas of Hegel throughout Italy. As there was a similarity between the Hegel and those of fascist party, the propagation of ideas of Hegel was beneficial to the Italian. So the people turn state is more than anything else. So now the people turns towards the fascist ideas and Hegel's principles. Then another cause of the rise of fascism in Italy is the propagation of communism. After the Russian Revolution, fascism in Italy, its ideologies, causes of rise and its policies, communist ideology was propagated in Italy on a large scale. People grew apprehensive of the growing influence of communalism. Kettlebray writes, the early fascists of Italy was a reaction to communism. It put a halt to the growing influence of communism. The fascist party vehemently opposed communism. It thus gained the support of the common man who was suffering from frequent strikes in workshops and increase in taxes. The landlords feared the occupation of their lands by the peasants. The industrialists were apprehensive about the preservation of their assets. In such circumstances, the fascists got the support of landlords, industrialists, and other sections of the society. So this is also one more reason to raise the fascism in Italy. Then another cause, division among the political parties. In Italy, there were a number of political parties. In the election held from time to time, representatives of each political party were elected for the parliament, but none of the political party were elected for the parliament. But none of political party was successful in achieving the majority. Therefore, generally, there were coalition governments in Italy. Such governments were always apprehensive of losing its majority as one party or two or more parties withdraw its support on account of differences over a particular issue. As such, the ministers in Italy were not stable and the problem should not be tackled firmly. So this is the one more reason, and the other reasons are failure of the government in post-war period. The people of Italy were satisfied with the Treaty of, not satisfied with the Treaty of Versailles. They blamed the government for not exerting full pressure on the allies. The government also failed in solving economic problems. Due to increasing poverty among the people, the Socialist Party increased rapidly. In the election of 1919, the party secured one-third seats in Italian government or Italian parliament. By 1920, the Socialists had taken over about 100 workshops under their control. Consequently, in 1921, Giletti, the Prime Minister of Italy, resigned from his post, and the fascists got ample opportunity for increasing their influence. Consequently, in the successive minister, there was increasing conflicts between the socialists and the fascists. Under the able leadership of Mussolini, the fascists gained ground. In 1922, he seized power and established dictatorship in Italy. So these are the few reasons that we find the causes of rise of fascism in Italy. Then what is the fascism principles? Uh, the main ideology of fascism is that a totalitarian ideology that looks to a strong dictator, reverse the nation or state, and emphasis order militarism and sometimes racism. It was a system developed by Mussolini in Italy in 1920s, but it also a term used to describe other extremely right-wing, nationalist, and authoritarian movements and regimes like those of Hitler's Germany and Franco's Spain. Then personality of Mussolini. When we have studied the fascism, it is very much necessary. We have to also study the brief history of Mussolini, but here not brief, but total history of Mussolini life, sketch and work and his role in the fascism and in Italy. But because of time constraints, we only study highlights in points here. Uh, Brief life sketch of Mussolini. Benito Mussolini was born in a poor family of iron-smiths in a small village of Italy named Romania in 1833. After receiving education, he became a teacher in a small school. For earning his livelihood, he did petty jobs of hard labor. In 1910, he became a journalist and wrote several articles in socialist newspaper. In 1912, he became the editor of a socialist newspaper and named Avanti. In the beginning of the war, he favored neutrality on the part of Italy, but soon afterwards he began to support the entry of Italy in the side of Allies. He now published a daily newspaper named Popolo d'Italia from Milan. In 1950, he joined the army. On account of injuries, he was released from the army. After his recovery, he again became the editor of his newspaper. By the end of the war, he continued to oppose the anti-war propaganda because Italy was not got what much desired from after the war. So he vigorously opposed the idealism of communism. In March 1990, he established the Fascist Party. Under his dynamic leadership, the Fascist Party became stronger day by day. So he was the main leader of the Fascist Party and he was the founder of the Fascist Party in Italy. Then what were the programs and principles of this fascism? Let's see. On March 13, 1990, Mussolini established the Fascist di Combattimento, means fascist military group in the city of Milan. The program of the party are ordnance factories should be nationalized. Some industry must be brought under the control of the workers. Workers should not be made to work for more than 8 hours. So that time they have decided in the party also. 80% of profits of the capitalists earned during the war should be confiscated. Property of the church should be seized. For framing a new constituent, a constituent assembly should be elected through the system of proportionate electoral based on adult franchise. Feminine Dalmatia be brought under Italy. An economic council should be formed with rights to make laws. So these are the programs of the Fascist Party in Italy. Then fascism principles. What are the major principles of this fascism is that totalitarian state, opposition of individualism, opposition to democracy, opposition to communism, opposition to peace, end of economic liberation, and opposition to rationalism. Establishment Mussolini's dictatorship. Using his special rights, Mussolini appointed fascists as prefects in provinces and chief officer in the department police administration. He means after he became the leader of this fascist party, Mussolini appointed his own persons in various sectors. A national army was organized and the armed youth of the fascist party were absorbed in it. He turned out all his opponents from administration and appointed his followers on this post. In the election of April 1924, the fascist party secured 65% of votes, thus winning a majority in the parliament. In 1925-26, two laws were passed which gave supreme power to Mussolini. He was the prime minister as well as the commander-in-chief of the army and navy. Means all authorities in the hands of the Mussolini only, and he worked as a dictator of France. In 1926, opposition parties were suppressed. Special courts were set up in which the fascist civilian and military officers were empowered to decide political cases. In 1928, he replaced democracy by dictatorship. He was called a duce, and it was the duty of all Italians to obey his orders blindly. If anybody asks questions, anybody not obeying his orders, he is punished by this fascist. Then what was the ideology of this fascist party? Like Marx and Lenin, Muslim did not publish any memorandum regarding his ideas on political and civil life. Hence, according to Savin, fascism was a collection of ideas taken from various sources. Still, he had some theoretical concepts and some social and political objectives, which Mussolini expressed in speeches, statements, and articles. The following are the principles of this fascist ideology. Totalitarian states. So those who are fascist follower, they have to follow these principles and adopt these ideologies in their life. First one is, he said that there cannot be more than one main authority in the state. For establishing uniformity in all functions, as well as for directing and coordinating them, a single authority was essential. Means one single power rule is important. Then opposition of individualism. The state is not for an individual, but an individual for the state. So a person has to work for the state. Mussolini often said, all within the state, nothing outside the state and nothing against the state. So all powers only in the authorities in the hands of the state. Fascism claimed that state is omnipresent, it's a powerful one. Hence, there was no scope for individual or a group to work independently. An individual has a place in the state only when the interests of the two are identical and the individual works in conformity with the state. Then other ideologies, opposition to democracy. So fascists not believe as a democracy or parliamentary system of government and other things. Mussolini wrote, we vehemently oppose the world of democracy, a world which still wants to cling to radical principles of 1789. The 19th century has been a period of democracy consisting of numbers, majority and quantity, but now a new principle should follow. In its place, fascism should be adopted. Instead of democratical parliament form of government, now fascism adopted like a dictatorship principles and a total opposition to democracy system. It also opposition to communism. Fascism does not accept the theory of historical materialism. According to it, the political elements and not economic elements make history. Fascism also does not accept the theory that only a class war can bring a change in the society. Instead, it states that all classes should come together to produce a normal economic element. Fascism does not allow complete freedom to the capitalist for exploiting the poor. According to Benis Francis, agreed that the state should control the economic activities of the individuals. In opposition to laissez-faire, the fascists believed that the age of free trade had come to an end. In their opinion, it has caused world depression. Therefore, all governments should interfere in this field. A large proportion of the management of the economy should be controlled by the government. So here they're not given any freedom to other industries or bureaucrats or capitalists. The economic authority is taken in the hands of themselves. And government look after it. Then opposition to rationalism. Fascism does not have any faith in the rational investigation. According to it, the state is always right. The public should blindly carry out the dictates of their leader. Public have no authority to question the leader or government. Like when in the democracy we ask that type of questions and other things. But here in the fascism, they have not given a freedom to ask questions. Then opposition to peace. So fascists did not approve of the efforts that were being made for a long-lasting peace after the First World War. No race, society, or country can rise to eminence without restoring to war. Italy should now build an empire of its own. So these fascists are totally interested to war instead of peace. That is in their ideology, they are totally opposite the peace. They wanted to war and build glorify their nation once again. Then now directly we go to the what is the internal and external policy of this Mussolini. Uh, in internal policy, state control over economy, measure for economic development, he reformed the working of the railways. Due to his efforts, the railways overcame their losses and began to make steady progress. The greatest obstacle in the increase of production was the paucity of raw materials and minerals in the country. For overcoming this shortage, he secured the help of scientists and engineers and increased the production. Then, to reduce unemployment, the fascist government launched a comprehensive program of public works. As we see that after the First World War in fascism, unemployment, discontent, poverty, everything took place. So here the fascism tried to progress the economy in the country. For that purpose, even provide the employment to the many people. So that's why to reduce the unemployment, the fascist government launched a comprehensive program of public works like roads, schools, buildings, houses, dams, canals, and harbors were constructed under this scheme. Old Roman memorials were renovated and important cities were beautified. According to Langson, in spite of all his physical development, Italy had to depend on foreign countries for capital, coal, iron, and oil, etc. Then internal policy of fascism. Besides the problem of economic reconstruction, the other main problem faced by Mussolini was his relation with Pope. Fascism in Italy, its ideologies, causes of rise, and its policies. Since the unification of Italy, Pope had called himself as a prisoner of Vatican and had cut off all relation with the Italian government. So although the Mussolini had no faith in religion, but he realized the political value of religion. For that purpose, most of his followers were Catholics. Besides them, there was a large number of Catholics living in Italy. Therefore, he negotiated a settlement with the Pope. Finally, on February 11, 1929, an agreement was signed at Rome between the two parties. It was known as a Lateran Accord. It had three parts: political, corporate, and financial. Then Mussolini's relation with Hitler. When we study Nazism detail, that time we explain more related to this topic. Then foreign policy of Mussolini. At the time of capture of power, Mussolini, the Italians were suffering from an inferiority complex. In the various theaters of war, the Italian armies had not shown any sign of bravery. In the Paris Peace Conference, the representatives of Italy were not given due importance. Hence, the main aim of the foreign policy of Mussolini was to wipe out this type of feelings among Italians by increasing the prestige of Italy in international world and making it a powerful nation. For that purpose, he has two main objectives in his mind. That two main objectives are to secure an honorable place for Italy in the international field and to bring her in line with great powers of the world, and to establish an extensive Italian empire in Africa and on the coast of Mediterranean Sea. For the fulfillment of above objectives, he considered it necessary to have amendments in peace treaties. For achieving his objective, he had no hesitation taking such steps which may lead to a war. Then other foreign policy, equation of routes and Gadakins Islands, he conquered those, and then curfew incident, occupation of Yemen, treaty with Albania, friendship with Russia, and treaty with France. He also attacked on Abyssinia, Rome-Berlin Axis also signed, intervention Spanish Civil War also. The attack of Germany on Poland started the World War II. In the beginning, Mussolini did not join Germany, but when he saw that Germany has gained victories in the Belgium and France, he declared war against Allied powers on June 10, 1940. So here started the he involved in Second World War. So these are the two reference books we have to refer while studying the fascism more. Along with, you can also read the some live Mussolini's live sketch books available in our library. Even in internet, you can also purchase the Mussolini's live sketch books in the market and read that one thoroughly. So which will give you more detailed information about the Mussolini and his dictatorship, his fascism principles, and other things. So these are the reference you can refer for this one. Here in this topic, briefly, I explain these things. Thank you very much for listening my lecture. Thank you.